G'day everyone, welcome back to Nat Snacker's Yard. This will be me knackered. Well and truly knackered and going home. I thought I'd take you along a bit of a London evening commute. So it is currently nearly 6 o'clock. I thought I'd give you my views because I do a bit of vlogging, although it tends to be talking through projects sat on a bike, more often than not sat on a bike going through London, and my riding style or lack thereof does draw a bit of comment, so I thought I'd explain myself. Oh, my front brake's a bit squeaky. Ew, nasty. I think what I need to do there is get some brake cleaner in there because I think I'm a bit either rusty or gritty. Probably gritty. Although the bike has been out and about or sat outside. So yeah, I would never claim to be a master bike rider. I would never boast about my riding skills. I have never done a track day. I would say it doesn't interest me, but I know I'm a dick. I know I have a particularly addictive personality, and I particularly know that if I did it I'd fall in love with it, and it's a very good way of burning lots of money. And I would just, I'd get into it too much. I've never done green laning. I've never really owned a bike that would be any good for it. I've said before about my my dislike of adventure bikes, and I don't know. I think I'd quite like, to fuck around on a little 250 or a 300 and just bounce around and do stuff like that. However, there is elements like having seen Craig from Doghouse Customs utterly destroy his shoulder doing something like that. Now, I am considerably younger than Craig, but I'm not a young man and I don't bounce anymore. So I would end up fucking destroying myself, I'm sure. Probably just myself and not anybody else, but I do look at that and think that's so consequently, through necessity as much as anything else, this is kind of my bag, bouncing through London, and I've been doing it now for a good couple of years, I suppose, mostly on the same or similar route, at different times, conditions, etc. I don't do it every day. I do use public transport a fair amount. I use the bike to break up the monotony and the weirdoishness of public transport. But it does mean that I am a relatively experienced inner city, in this case London, rider. Now, so what? Doesn't exactly teach you any amazing fucking skills, does it? It kind of does, because you do shit like this that you would never do on anything else bar London roads. So the only real critique, well, the two critiques I've had, one is my general attitude to cyclists, and my general attitude to cyclists is fuck 'em. Not all of them, I'm generalising for effect. Cyclists are bloody lethal in London. They jump red lights, they appear in strange places. I'm massively generalising because there are, numerous strata of bikers, from your mammals, your middle-aged men in lycra, belting through from your utterly oblivious dudes and dudettes on Boris bikes. For those outside of the UK, they're the hire bikes that you just boot around on. Deliveroo riders, hipsters, everything in between. There are a few of them that stop at red lights. There are a few of them that look. They are just a freaking menace. The other menace is pedestrians who just walk out at random places, normally staring at their phone, and just really not paying the attention that that living near, on and around busy streets merits. But yeah, you'll note the massive absence of hazard in Nat's humble opinion is cars. I've had very little incidents with cars in central London, mostly because there's not that many of them, I suppose. But in the burbs, yeah, that becomes a little bit more. But they're actually, you know, while they're commuting, they're generally pretty good. And the reason I say they're pretty good is because they're quite predictable. You know, if there's a gap, they'll take it. If there isn't, they won't. They've got very little freedom of manoeuvre to do the wild and crazy shit in the middle of London. So you kind of know what they're doing. The critique that I've had the most is this. That's a cycle lane, that's illegal. Yeah, you're right, and it does say that in the highway code. However, this is rat race London. It happens all the time. So that bus is in a cycle lane. Cars go into cycle lanes. They don't stay in them long, they dip in and out. There are weird idiosyncrasies of rules and laws. So bus lanes are pretty sacrosanct in London. You do, and I have received fines for going into them. I still whinge about that because some boroughs you're allowed to, others you're not, and there's no obvious borough marker generally. Red lanes you can, those others you can't. It's a little bit confusing, and it will catch you out if you're not paying attention, and it has caught me out. It's an expensive mistake to make it. You don't seem to get fines for riding a motorcycle in a cycle lane. Now what I'm not saying is sit in a cycle lane and just hoon it across pavements and everything else, because that is, for one, stupid, for two, dangerous. You're sharing, yes, you're a vulnerable road user as a motorcycle, but you tend to be quite well padded up. You've got more than enough oomph to get yourself into or out of the poo, brackets generally. You know, you're not a cyclist and you couldn't pretend to be one. However, there are times when you just slide. He's a little bit close to me. There's times when you just slide through and it's fine. Fucking hell. Oh fuck. What the fuck are you doing? Fucking U-turn. I was going to nip round behind him thinking, oh, he's only making space to get round that corner. Fucking U-turn. Crazy shit. Yeah, so I wouldn't dream of hooning along a cycle lane here. What I would dream of is exactly this. Is what I'm going to do. Of just using it with the push bikes to get round like that. And that is something that is probably illegal. It's probably something that I've done for 2 years, and it doesn't. It's a horrible thing to base legality on, but everyone does it. Every bike does it. It is the only way that you are going to get through traffic in London. It's just, and if you're getting out of the way of vehicles, you're easing the flow of traffic. No, you are completely right, pedestrians. Bike was in the wrong lane because they routinely are. Yeah, so what I would not do is cruise along the cycle lane there. For one, there's no reason. My lane is completely bad. What I wouldn't think twice about doing is just hoofing around 2 car lengths to get to the front of the queue so I can ease the flow of traffic and get out of the way. I also like vehicles that are behind me to be ones that are already stationary. rather than ones that are going to crawl to a stop behind me, because they're not always the most attentive ones, or they indicate really late, one or the other. Yeah, so you know, my one naughtiness is exactly that. Now the push bikes are just going to scoon over even though there's a pedestrian, because they're arseholes. Pedestrians doing weird and wonderful things then, trying to work out whether or not they can cross. It's a pedestrian crossing, of course you can. Yeah, so yeah, it's the, you know, my one. So for example, dooby-dooby-doo. Now I personally don't see a drama with that. The cars aren't going to hit me. I'm nowhere near a push bike. Am I wrong? Is it naughty Nat? Probably is. Probably is. But for as long as a police car will sit there and watch 15 push bikes go over a red light and do nothing about it, crossing live traffic, I can't see too many rozzers getting upset about a motorbike doing 7 miles an hour in a bike lane. I just find it a little bit wild and wacky. So for example, that Triumph next to me is saying one. Oh, he's probably turning left though. No, he's coming out my way. So yeah, he's just done exactly the same as me. Oh, that sounds expensive. The derailleur's clicking away. A lovely little nut-shaped hole. So that's my schnorgeling. I know I am breaking the law, so do I upload a video about knowingly breaking the law? But I also know that everybody does it, and I know that's not an excuse, but my point is that it seems to be a daft law that is ignored, brackets, unless you take the piss. So if I were to be doing anything like the speed limit, doing a wheelie in one, then I think I would quite happily put my hand up to said copper and say, fair cop, I was being a tit. Whereas scooting me, or using them to scoot round slow or very slow or even stationary traffic, as long as you're not a hazard to the principal users of that lane, i.e. bikes, I don't see it as a problem. Right, that'll do me, short one. Cheers all, I'll catch you later on. Ta-da.